Walt Disney sat on a park bench watching his daughters play at Griffith Park in Los Angeles when the idea for Disneyland began to form. More importantly, his ideal customer for such an amusement park became very clear to him: families who want to play together. Just as Walt knew exactly who he was serving in building Disneyland, we need to study our ideal customers carefully. Let's talk about how. Welcome to Marketing the Magic, our weekly show and community for business owners, marketers, and agency owners focused on practical digital marketing lessons inspired by the Disney parks, movies, marketing, and more. This week's episode is about one of my favorite topics in digital marketing: identifying your ideal customers or buyer personas. You might wonder why such a rudimentary aspect of digital marketing is my favorite and not, setting up a Facebook ad or publishing a blog post or optimizing a lead funnel. It's because this step, developing your buyer personas, is the foundation of literally everything we do in marketing. If we don't have a clear idea of who we are trying to reach, we'll never be able to reach the right people most effectively. That means budget wasted and revenue never realized. But when we do take the time and effort to develop and refine our buyer personas and then use those personas in the rest of our marketing plans, we have the potential to create unbelievably effective, or in other words, unbelievably profitable digital marketing. So, what is a buyer persona? Well, buyer personas are semi-fictional representations of our ideal customers. They are a tool we use to provide both context and direction for every piece of marketing we ever unleash on the world. Your company may only have one persona, or it could have up to 10, 20, or more. Though when in doubt, start with as few as possible. Now, what in the world does all of that jargon soup mean, I hear you thinking? I'm glad you asked. A buyer persona should be the combination of traits we find among our most ideal customers. A persona should never be a specific person or customer. If we choose a specific person, we'll restrict our profile to the extent that we leave out far more of our potential market than we intend. So, how do we develop buyer personas? Well, my personal approach is to start very simply by identifying broad categories for my personas like small business owner, or marketing professional, or cosmetic dentists. Then, I like to give my personas a silly name to make them easy to identify. As an example, two of my personas for Marketing the Magic are small business owner Sully and marketing pro Minnie. I'm guessing you can figure out where those names came from. Now, the next step is to make a list of questions that will help you to uncover common traits among your ideal customers or prospective customers to help you identify that customer's common struggles, business and personal life goals and concerns, and so on. For a business-to-business company, you might ask questions like, what is the age range of this customer? In which industry does he or she work? What role does my ideal customer play in his or her company? What are my ideal customers' biggest challenges on a daily basis? And so forth. For a business-to-consumer company, you'd obviously want to focus more on personal questions rather than business. But don't just stop at those few questions. Dig deep into who these ideal customers are and their lives on a daily basis. But how do we answer these questions? Well, that's easy. You just roar like baby Simba. Rawr! All right. You gotta let me have my fun where I can here. RAR stands for research, analyze, write the story, and repeat. Let's break it down. The first step, of course, is to do the research. If you already have great customers that match your potential personas, answer what you can from the data you have, and if it's appropriate, try asking some of those ideal customers for the answers you can't easily uncover. If you don't already have customers, or at least ideal customers, don't worry. Start by answering the questions you can make an educated guess at, then look online. Imagine you're looking, or actually look, at the social media profiles for some of your ideal customers. What answers would you find? My favorite way to do this kind of research, though, is to Google, for example, a day in the life of a cosmetic dentist, or a day in the life of a marketing strategist. Read as many of the resulting articles as you can find and look for the answers to your list of questions. Now, the next step in roaring is to analyze the results of your research. Find the common answers among your questions and isolate those as the common traits of your ideal customer. Once you have identified these common traits, it's time to write the story. One of the most effective tools in buyer persona development is to take this list of factoids in a spreadsheet and turn them into a narrative. In other words, write your own short story about who these people are. Now, I'm not talking about writing a novel, but rather just a few paragraphs that incorporate all of that data into something that's memorable and paints a clear picture of who you're trying to reach. Now, I think the best way to illustrate this would be to include an example of one of my buyer personas. So let's hear about marketing professional Minnie. Minnie is a 30 to 50-year-old in-house marketing specialist or freelancer for marketing clients. She may specialize in marketing strategy development, a specific channel like social media or pay-per-click marketing, or provide all-around marketing services. Minnie's day is incredibly busy, almost always opening with 1 or more hours of emails to catch up on or send out for ongoing projects. Her day stays packed from there, ranging from analysis of currently running campaigns to new campaign planning, creative development, or optimization. She also has to contend with multiple meetings on most days with the project owners and various supporting staff like graphic designers, product managers, sales staff, and more. Minnie stays concerned with delivering high-quality leads or sales directly from her marketing efforts. Quotas keep her on her toes each and every day. While Minnie has a solid grasp on her areas of expertise and is content with her current earnings of $50,000 to $100,000 per year, she's always looking for new things to learn, new areas of marketing to study, and new ways to help her company or clients create more effective marketing in order to advance her career. She listens to podcasts on her commute, watches videos on her lunch break, and is constantly coming up with new ideas for her marketing work, often from experiences she has throughout her day. Minnie is also an avid fan of the Walt Disney Company. She loves studying how the company plans and operates its multi-industry presence, from the theme parks to the movies to merchandising and brand awareness. She's also a big fan of the company as a consumer, visiting the parks and watching Disney movies with family and friends. Now, that paints a much easier to grasp picture of this buyer persona than a spreadsheet of data would, doesn't it? Now, the last step in this process is to repeat. Developing your buyer personas is an ongoing task. The more you find your ideal customers and the more you learn about them, the more refined you'll be able to make your buyer personas and the marketing you create for them. Make sure you set aside time on a regular basis to review your personas and make sure that you don't have new information to incorporate in them. So what do we actually do with buyer personas? Well, that's a pretty big topic, so we'll have to cover that in future episodes, but I hope that I've been able to illustrate the importance and the process of developing buyer personas for your business or clients. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. I hope you'll join us live on Wednesday, or you can catch the replay when it's posted soon after on Facebook and YouTube, so you can join us in discussing the practical implications of today's episode. Ask your questions and have some fun discussing Disney and marketing. For more information on our weekly live discussion stream, just visit mtm.live. And I hope to see you online real soon.